Welcome to a realm of shadows and forgotten whispers. In these tales, the past awakens and restless spirits roam. Allow your mind to wander through darkness, where every secret conceals a haunting story waiting to be told. Prepare yourself now. Blackwood House stood at the edge of a forgotten village, a relic of a bygone era that time had nearly erased. Its towering facade, shrouded in ivy and mystery, loomed over the crumbling cobblestone path leading to its ancient door. For decades, the house had been abandoned, its windows dark and its halls silent, save for the whispers of a tragic past. Locals spoke in hushed tones of a restless spirit bound to the mansion, a ghost whose sorrow was as palpable as the chill in the air. The legend told of a great betrayal and lost love, a story so painful that even the wind seemed to mourn. It was said that the spirit of a heartbroken woman roamed the corridors, her cries echoing through the empty rooms as she sought solace from the agony of eternal regret. The very ground around Blackwood House was steeped in melancholy, the memories of old grievances seeping from every stone and shattered window. In this place of desolation, the boundary between the living and the dead had blurred, leaving behind an air of mystery that defied explanation. Every whispered rumor and every shadow affirmed a lingering sorrow that eternally refused to vanish. Jonathan arrived at dusk, drawn by the enigmatic pull of Blackwood House. A seasoned traveler with a mind anchored in logic, he dismissed ghostly legends as mere superstition. Yet, as he stepped onto the unkempt path, an inexplicable chill gripped his heart. The air felt heavy with unspoken sorrow, and each step resonated with the weight of history. Jonathan's eyes, accustomed to the brightness of rationality, now widened at the sight of crumbling stone and tangled ivy. He noted the intricate carvings on the ancient door and the faded inscriptions hinting at long-forgotten names. As he crossed the threshold, a subtle shift stirred the stagnant air. The silence was profound, punctuated only by the soft rustle of leaves outside. In his mind, reason battled with a growing sense of foreboding, yet his curiosity prevailed. Wandering through the labyrinthine corridors, Jonathan observed remnants of a life once lavishly lived. A grand chandelier, now tarnished and drooping, a parlor set with decaying furniture, and portraits whose eyes held untold sorrow. With every step, he felt as though the past was pressing in, urging him to uncover the truth hidden within these walls. An old diary, partially charred and forgotten in a dusty nook, offered fragmented clues about a forbidden love and a tragic betrayal that had cursed the estate. Jonathan's pulse quickened, and despite his rational mind, he sensed that the mansion itself was alive with memories. A dread crept over him as he realized every step forward deepened the mansion's dark mystery. Inside, the mansion revealed a tapestry of sorrow and decay. Jonathan wandered through narrow hallways lined with portraits of stern ancestors, each face a frozen witness to past sorrows. Dust motes danced in the pale light that filtered through fractured windows, illuminating secrets long held captive by time. In one neglected room, he discovered a grand piano, its keys worn and silent, as though mourning the melodies that once filled the space. Faded tapestries, now little more than tattered memories, hung on walls that had seen both joy and despair. Among these relics, Jonathan found a collection of letters tied with a crimson ribbon, their edges brittle with age. The letters spoke of a forbidden romance, of a promise made in the depths of passion and shattered by treachery. Each word exuded an aching melancholy, recounting moments of bliss intermingled with the sting of betrayal. As he read, the temperature seemed to drop, and the air grew thick with the weight of unshed tears. The narrative unfolded like a tragic play, each letter a verse in a sorrowful ballad. Jonathan felt the presence of the past in every line, a palpable connection to the lives that had been so cruelly torn apart. He sensed that the ghostly woman, whose image he had seen in a portrait, was not merely a figment of legend, but a soul trapped by the unresolved anguish of her lost love. The mansion itself appeared to weep for its inhabitants, its every creak and sigh echoing the silent lament of a heart forever broken. In that somber atmosphere, every room whispered its own tragic tale. Shadows of memories danced softly on the walls, and each echo of a forgotten past seemed to murmur secrets of unhealed wounds and lost destinies. Silence deepened as despair filled corners. As night gave way to a moonless sky, Jonathan ventured deeper into the heart of Blackwood House. In the vast echoing hall, the atmosphere grew charged with a palpable tension. A spectral figure began to take shape before him. A woman cloaked in sorrow, her translucent form wavering like a candle flame in the dark. Her eyes, deep wells of anguish, met his, conveying a silent plea for release from her torment. Without a word, she drifted toward a hidden chamber, her ethereal presence stirring the dust of forgotten memories. Jonathan, though overwhelmed by fear, felt compelled to follow. In the chamber, he discovered remnants of a ritual, symbols etched into the stone floor and scattered candles that had long since melted into wax. The inscriptions told a tale of desperate love and irrevocable loss, of promises broken and hearts betrayed. As he deciphered the faded writings, a chill ran down his spine. The ghost's presence loomed larger, her sorrowful gaze piercing the veil between their worlds. Driven by a desire to bring peace to this anguished soul, Jonathan recited an incantation he had uncovered in the brittle pages of the diary. With each carefully spoken word, the air shimmered with an otherworldly energy. The spectral woman began to dissolve into a cascade of silvery light, her form becoming one with the shadows. For a fleeting moment, time seemed to stand still as the boundaries of life and death blurred. Then, as suddenly as she had appeared, the ghost vanished, leaving behind only the lingering echo of her lament and a promise of solace finally within reach. In that moment of revelation, Jonathan felt a connection to the spectral realm. The house itself seemed to breathe, its very walls whispering secrets of love, loss, and the eternal struggle between hope and despair. In the aftermath, Blackwood House stood silent once more, its spectral burden eased by the release of a tormented soul. Jonathan departed with heavy yet hopeful steps, carrying with him the weight of a story that transcended mortal understanding. The mansion, now a resting place for memories, bore the marks of its tragic history, a testament to the enduring power of love and loss. Villagers would speak of that night in hushed tones, recalling how the curse had been lifted by a stranger's compassion. Though the ghost had found solace at last, the echoes of her sorrow lingered in every corner of Blackwood House, a gentle reminder that even in darkness, the light of redemption could prevail. In the quiet aftermath of that fateful encounter, the wind carried a soft whisper of gratitude. The softened presence left a trace of hope that even deep sorrows might eventually heal, beyond all measure. Raven's Hollow was a desolate estate nestled in the foggy moors, its silhouette etched against a perpetual twilight. The abandoned mansion had long been a subject of fearful whispers among the local townsfolk. They spoke of a spectral figure that roamed its corridors, a phantom with secrets too dreadful to be spoken aloud. The manor's architecture, though once grand, now lay in ruin, its stone walls marred by time and sorrow. Tales of despair and unfulfilled longing were woven into its very fabric, and every crumbling arch and faded inscription bore witness to a haunting tragedy. It was rumored that a scandal had torn apart a once powerful family, leaving behind a spirit consumed by regret and anger. The air around Raven's Hollow was heavy with memories of bitter feuds and lost innocence. As dusk approached, the estate exuded an eerie calm, a deceptive silence that hinted at the restless soul hidden within its decaying halls. Every stone and broken window seemed to murmur forgotten grievances, as if the very structure held echoes of scandal and sorrow. The long, endless night whispered secrets of inevitable doom. Evelyn, a curious historian with a skeptical mind, found herself drawn to Raven's Hollow one autumn evening. She arrived with a determination to uncover the truth behind the legends that had haunted her family for generations. Evelyn had heard tales of forbidden love and bitter revenge, and though she doubted the supernatural, a subtle intuition urged her onward. As she stepped through the dilapidated gate, the cold air brushed her skin like an unwelcome caress. The mansion's desolation resonated with a melancholy that was both haunting and familiar. With each cautious step on the creaking floorboards, Evelyn felt as though she were intruding upon secrets meant to remain buried. In the grand foyer, faded portraits and neglected artifacts spoke silently of lost grandeur and lingering guilt. A heavy silence enveloped the space, as if the walls themselves bore witness to the tragic events that had unfolded here. Among the scattered relics, a diary with brittle pages beckoned to her. Its cryptic entries hinted at a dark romance, betrayal, and an oath that tethered a restless spirit to the confines of Raven's Hollow. The air seemed to thicken with every step she took, as if the mansion itself were alive with memories too painful to erase. Each creak of the ancient wood and every flicker of candlelight in the darkness further deepened the mystery. Evelyn felt a blend of trepidation and resolve, compelled to honor the voices of the past. Her unwavering determination surged as mysterious ancient secrets beckoned her onward. Inside the mansion, gloom reigned supreme over every corridor and chamber. Evelyn's footsteps echoed on worn marble floors, mingling with the soft rustle of decaying draperies. In a dimly lit library, she uncovered a trove of dusty manuscripts and cryptic diaries, each chronicling a history steeped in passion and despair. One journal, bound in faded leather, recounted the tale of a forbidden love that had ignited a bitter feud. Its pages described clandestine meetings under the shroud of night and whispered promises that ended in tragedy. As Evelyn turned the brittle pages, she could almost hear the murmurs of past lovers, their voices entwined with regret and longing. The mansion itself seemed to breathe a sorrowful air, as if mourning the lives it had witnessed. Shadows flitted at the edge of her vision, and for a moment, the line between reality and the spectral grew perilously thin. The very walls appeared to exhale a melancholy sigh, bearing the weight of untold secrets. In that haunted silence, the past reached out to her through the words of despair, binding her fate to the legacy of Raven's Hollow. Every revelation stirred a mix of fear and fascination within her, igniting an inner conflict between the desire for truth and the instinct to flee. In the dim glow of an unseen moon, the mansion's corridors whispered in hushed tones, urging her onward. Each step revealed fragments of a shattered past, from faded letters to mysterious symbols carved into the woodwork. The air was thick with an unspoken promise of revelation, and every hidden corner concealed another piece of the sorrowful puzzle. Her heart pounded with anticipation as she embraced the mystery that enveloped every step indeed. In the midst of her exploration, a sudden chill made the hairs on Evelyn's neck stand on end. A spectral figure emerged from the shadows, a gaunt man with hollow eyes and a sorrowful expression. His presence was both menacing and melancholic, a living echo of past grievances. Without uttering a word, he pointed toward a narrow staircase that descended into darkness. Compelled by a mix of fear and fascination, Evelyn followed the phantom down into a forgotten cellar. There, the air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and lingering despair. Ancient relics and personal mementos lay scattered across the stone floor, each one a silent testament to a life cut short. The ghostly man lingered at the edge of the cellar, his gaze fixed on a small, ornate box that rested atop a pedestal. The box, intricately carved and adorned with cryptic symbols, pulsed with a mysterious energy. In that moment, the phantom's eyes conveyed a story of deep loss, a tale of betrayal and shattered dreams that had condemned him to eternal wandering. Evelyn sensed that this box held the key to unraveling the tragic events that had befallen the manor. With trembling hands, she reached out to touch it, feeling an overwhelming surge of sorrow and resolve intertwine within her soul. In that charged moment, the cellar awakened with the voices of a forgotten past. Faint echoes of sorrow and soft murmurs of regret wove through the air, filling the silence with secrets. The phantom's silent beckon spoke volumes of despair and lost hope, drawing Evelyn into a realm where history and the supernatural converged in a tapestry of pain and mystery. Every step resonated with sorrow and hope, a timeless reminder that the manor's legacy was inseparable from its ghosts. When dawn broke, Raven's Hollow seemed to exhale a final sigh, its haunted corridors momentarily at peace. Evelyn emerged from the mansion with a heavy heart, her mind filled with visions of sorrow and the echoes of lost lives. The spectral encounters and hidden relics had unveiled a tapestry of grief that spanned generations. Though the mystery of the phantom remained partly unsolved, she carried with her a profound understanding of the pain that had bound the estate. The experience left an indelible mark on her soul, a reminder that some ghosts persist long after their stories have been told. In the quiet aftermath, as the first light of day touched the horizon, the haunted mansion seemed to recede into the mists of time. Evelyn's resolve was steeled by the knowledge that she had witnessed a sorrowful chapter of history, forever etched in the stones of Raven's Hollow beyond measure. Marrow Lane was a narrow, winding street on the outskirts of an old town, where time itself seemed to falter. The houses, worn and weary, stood as silent witnesses to countless untold tragedies. At the end of the lane, an abandoned Victorian manor cast a long, somber shadow over the crumbling pavement. Locals whispered that the manor was cursed, haunted by souls that had perished under mysterious circumstances. Its broken windows and creaking doors told stories of despair and relentless sorrow. Every resident of the town knew the legend of Marrow Lane, a tale of loss, secrets, and the lingering presence of those who could not find peace. The very air on this street was thick with memories of past lives, and a sense of foreboding clung to every brick and beam. In this place, hope seemed a distant memory, replaced by an eternal gloom that defied the light of day. Every step along Marrow Lane stirred whispers of the past, as if the ground itself recited sorrowful ballads of bygone days. The quiet despair of the manor seeped into the air, warning passers-by of the lingering curse that no one could escape. A pervasive, overwhelming sadness embraced every lonely corner. Marcus, a troubled writer haunted by his own past, found himself inexplicably drawn to Marrow Lane. Seeking inspiration for his next novel, he arrived at the stroke of midnight, when the veil between the living and the dead was said to be thinnest. Though he doubted the supernatural, an unexplainable pull urged him toward the forlorn manor at the end of the lane. Marcus felt a chill as he passed by the desolate houses, their empty windows gazing at him like mournful eyes. The silence was oppressive, punctuated only by the distant echo of his footsteps. As he approached the manor, the atmosphere grew heavy with a sense of impending doom. The wind carried a faint lament, and the night seemed to hold its breath, as if anticipating the unveiling of long-buried secrets. Every creaking floorboard and whisper of the wind intensified his growing apprehension, yet Marcus pressed on, determined to confront the mysteries that awaited him. As he stepped closer, the manor loomed ominously against the starless sky, its silhouette a stark reminder of forgotten sorrows. The air seemed to throb with the weight of countless untold stories, and Marcus felt as though every heartbeat echoed the pain of lost souls. His pulse quickened in tandem with the dark history that permeated the night, and he could not help but feel that his destiny was inexplicably intertwined with the secrets of Marrow Lane. Every step forward deepened his resolve, merging his fate with the legacy of that cursed street. Inside the manor, darkness enveloped every room like a shroud. Marcus wandered through halls lined with remnants of a once vibrant past, where faded photographs and brittle letters whispered stories of joy turned to sorrow. In a grand parlor, a large mirror stood cracked and clouded, its surface reflecting not only his own image, but fleeting visions of faces long forgotten. Each step he took resonated with the echoes of silent laments and mournful tunes. The manor's decay was both physical and spiritual, as if the very soul of the building had been eroded by despair. Amidst the rubble of memories, Marcus discovered a hidden study where an old typewriter and scattered manuscripts lay in disarray. The words on the pages spoke of love, betrayal, and a curse that doomed a family to eternal wandering. As he read, the atmosphere grew heavy with an otherworldly presence, and a chill crept over him. Shadows danced at the corners of his vision, blurring the line between reality and the spectral. In that moment, Marcus sensed that he was not merely an observer, but a participant in a tragic narrative that spanned generations. The study revealed more than just forgotten papers. It unveiled a portal to the manor's haunted soul. In faded ink and hurried scribbles, Marcus read of ancestral feuds and the sorrow of those condemned to roam its desolate halls. Every document echoed with despair, each sentence a cry for redemption that had gone unanswered. The weight of the manor's legacy pressed upon him, stirring an emotional maelstrom he had long suppressed. In that quiet room, as the wind moaned through broken panes, Marcus understood that his own story was now irrevocably entwined with the tragic fate of Marrow Lane. A haunting, inescapable realization took root in his heart beyond all measure. As Marcus delved deeper into the manor's secrets, an eerie presence began to stir. The air grew cold, and distant whispers echoed through the desolate corridors, as if the very walls were mourning. A ghostly figure, barely discernible in the dim light, appeared at the end of a long hallway. Its eyes, vacant yet filled with an unspoken plea, met his with an intensity that sent shivers down his spine. The specter moved slowly, guiding him toward a hidden chamber behind a tattered tapestry. In that secluded room, the remnants of a once vibrant life lay scattered. A porcelain doll, a withered rose, and a faded photograph of a smiling family. Each relic told a story of love, loss, and the cruel passage of time. Marcus sensed that the ghost was trying to communicate, to reveal a secret buried deep within the manor's walls. With cautious determination, he followed the apparition, each step echoing in the vast emptiness. The journey felt both surreal and inevitable, as though the spirits of Marrow Lane were steering him toward a destiny long foreseen. In that moment, silence broke only with his heartbeat and the soft rustle of fabric as unseen forces stirred. The specter's presence was both comfort and warning, reminding him that the past endures. Each step felt laden with meaning, as though the manor guided him to confront its hidden truths and his own buried memories. The play of shadow and light in the corridor evoked both dread and wonder, urging him forward despite his fear. In the depths of the chamber, he heard whispered echoes of promises broken and dreams lost, each murmur a fragment of a long-forgotten story yearning to be told. Every step resonated with sorrow and hope, a timeless reminder that the manor's legacy was inseparable from its ghosts. When the first light of dawn touched Marrow Lane, the manor seemed to exhale a long-held sorrow. Marcus stepped out into the quiet street, the weight of the night's revelations pressing on his soul. The echoes of lost voices and fragmented memories accompanied him as he walked away, leaving behind the haunted corridors and the lingering presence of its long-departed inhabitants. Though the mysteries of the manor remained, Marcus carried a newfound understanding of grief, love, and the inexorable passage of time. Marrow Lane, with all its sorrow and secrets, had forever altered the course of his life. As he walked the familiar path, every step echoed with both melancholy and hope. The memories of the past intertwined with the promise of new beginnings, urging him to embrace the lessons learned from that haunted night. Each step forward carried the weight of history and the light of future dreams, indeed. As our journey into the darkness comes to an end, the echoes of lost souls fade into silence. Remember, every shadow holds a secret, and every whisper a story. Until we meet again, keep the light alive. Farewell, brave listener.